Hello everybody. So when I started to prepare for this session, I was at the beginning more on the way to prepare a very dedicated subject, very narrow one, on technical side. But after some discussion, it looks more interesting to share with us our experience about what does AI mean for us in the automotive industry. What is our objectives? And another point, which is quite important, is why AI is today in the age of ready experience for us. So, as everybody knows, the automotive industry is really living a deep transformation in the usage with the automation, with, on the other side, the technology with the electrification, all the decarbonization area, and also in the business, because we have many new actors in this domain, many new technologies to integrate. So, regarding all these points, despite the fact that we are in a big change, what matters is the adoption of all this technology in the world, how we are able to transform that. And we are clearly in the automotive industry in an iterative process, meaning that the people can use the technology even only if they understand really how it works. You cannot enforce a driver to go in a dedicated area. So it's cumulative process of technologies. And this is what it matches also on how we address AI in our company, which is an addition of different models, of different techniques. AI is an enabler for us for the new technologies. So, to explain that, we will go through three areas. One on the product to explain what we are doing and how we are using AI. One is about more on engineering and more in production, to give you an overview. But first, let's start to understand what we are clearly doing. We are a large-scale and innovative automotive supplier, providing all the important part of the cars with the division of power with all electrification, all low to high voltage, e-axle, inverter, but also all the cooling system to save energy. It's a very key element for the decarbonization of this industry. The second area, it's a massive one, which is automotive with brain, with automation of the driving. We are going with that with all the sensors. We are providing the camera, LiDAR, radar, ultrasonic, all the parts which are necessary to make the car autonomous. We are providing also the ECU and the software to be able to do that. And we have all the lights part, the vision, how to ensure that in bad condition weather, you still keep the visibility. So with the sensor cleaning, for example, the light, and also all the elements for the aesthetism. And we rely also, because the repair is very important too, for the Valeo service for all the distribution on aftermarket. So from some years now, we are also a big shift from a company from the part, but also to provide all the software, all the services needed, starting from the SOC to the basic software and the applicative part in all the previous area, and directly dedicated to the AI. So to understand, we are a company with its around 9,000 software and system people to address, and all are impacted by the AI. So coming back to our subject, concretely at AI, it's important to understand that we start by really the product 12 years ago. It's quite soon, quite early in the automotive industry. Delivering the first cases was on the rear for the camera, for the detection of a specific object. And then we go with Valeo.ai, a research center, to enable really on the research part, the possibilities and the deployment of the autonomous driving, really focusing to start for the embedded part, also to go with a foundation model, the dataset as a reference for the KPI and evaluation of the performance. And last year, we finally, which is a normal step for us, to go with the AI4ALL to change all the network and really become an AI-driven company. Because for us, it's absolutely natural. We have around 200 AI engineers in our companies working deeply on models. So with all this all these elements, what we learn from years, what is important? The first thing is the safety. This is an embedded feature that we need to guarantee. We need to be secure, reliable, to have all the time the same and the right answer. The determinism, it starts late. It's very linked to the GenAI topic, on the fact that for more creativity, you'd change a model to be less deterministic, but by default, a model is deterministic. This is the part that we need absolutely. This is our driver. On the other part, to make your mind, you have the different elements. The first one is what we want to achieve, a mimetism of the task of the driver, or a mimetism of a task of an engineer. In automotive, we are really tailoring the task of an engineer in different elements. That fits well. So you want to ask the AI to reproduce, to assist the driver or the engineer or the operator on a specific and dedicated task. Then after you have the planning. It's more on activities. And then where it's come very important is the adaptation. A model is here, it's reproduce what is a mimetism, is doing what he's already see and transfer. And this is where we need more work, because we have all the time to see a scene that it have not been planned before. And the last one is the creativity, which is a little bit different. It's to assist and to help the creativity during the design phase mainly. Let's go now on the different elements, especially for the driving. The driving task is split in 5 levels. Today we are in level 3, between level 3 and level 4 for the development and the deployment. And this is the massive deployment. It's on level 2 and plus, plus as well. So what our target is, we change, we improve all the model of the cars, all the AI parts to increase the operational domain design. Our objective is to avoid as maximum the intervention of the human during the process. And this is how it is split. But when you are talking about AI, it's become more and more important to have also to manage a fallback. So how the car can drive in a safe mode, can go in a safe mode in case of a problem, something that the model don't know how to react. So this is a very big driver, how we are dealing. And on the other part, you have all the tasks of the perception and the driving. You have to understand that without AI, there is no autonomous car. It's just impossible. Because we cannot predict all the cases, we cannot do all the algorithm to be able to do so. To simplify, like hell, what we are doing, it's finally you can see very few tasks. And it's you can see some similarity from what Mistral showed just before, with you need to first to understand, to learn about the scene, what's happening, then to predict, and then to decide. It's all the time more or less the same approach. For that, the complexity comes from the diversity of the sensor we have. And we need this diversity to guarantee the quality of for the safety purpose, to be sure that it's redundant enough. So we have the radar, the LiDAR. This is point cloud approach. So it will be dedicated AI solution for that we have to put in place. On all is more or less the machine learning, deep learning, etc. So, but the point is for the camera, for example, it will be already image-based, and we will use more vision transformer or the different approach. And to increase what I said just before about the adaptation, the fact that we need to push more about how the model will react, it's where we will go with more and more multitask, also approach learning. Where an interesting point on help is the last move on the GenAI and so on also help to finally increase the quality of the model embedded, thanks to synthetic data that we generate, or the different annotation possibilities that increase the performance and push the boundary. This is all for the perception. Then after, you collect all this data together, and you are putting a better view to reconstruction, to create and perceive the scene correctly. Then, on this part, you need to go with more reinforcement learning techniques to be able to finally address really how to predict and how to decide what is the best strategy according to the case. But even for that, we are still pushing the boundary about how to do that, especially with Valeo.ai, on which we are looking in a more holistic approach to manage all these sensors. And this is very relevant that you can see the similarity on what we are doing in embedded world versus what's the cloud world, and what, for example, the methodology of shown by, again, Mistral, with on the fact that we go with a large model that train a smaller model to react and to adapt better. And then after, you go with a last training, a last fine-tuning about the platform itself. That, like that, you increase your capacity of adaptation. Thanks to all this work and the different elements, it's just to give you a little piece, a little abstract on that. We are able to provide, and it's what we are doing today, providing parking assistance, a lot of work on the perception, but all are doing the different steps in different manner. The safety and the assisted driving with more prediction, and the automated driving, which is more planning. And we will see just after that from engineering, it's very close. But we are also in covering all the car, the in-car cabin experience with, for example, the detection of the face with the drowsiness, or the case of to detect that the distraction of the driver, to ensure that according to the level of autonomy the car will react correctly. You have the interaction, obviously, to have your habit, and finally, it's starting to link the GenAI and with all the small model, in the world of the large model, that we are able to interact better with the car and create another level of experience. This is the result. Obviously, we are doing also exactly the same kind of works on a power, or especially to manage the heating system, for example. What is the best strategy to heat the cabin? Is it the seat, the HVAC, the heat pump, how it works? And this is also where AI comes. And we are able also to save energy by a better management of the energy with the battery according to the temperature. All these points are very relevant, and AI is changing completely the approach and help us to reach another level of performance. We are doing also in light, on which we are adapting the light and the energy according to the context. And it could be up to 40% saving, so it's not small numbers. in short, finally, you see that it's why I'm talking about iteration, about that it's interconnection, about the different models. We go on step by step to really create breakthrough at the end. So having the different narrow AI to go in more holistic approach, and then also more and more on pre-trained logic approach. That's for the embedded part. And now, if we are looking on the engineering part, there is similarity. This is another scale of the model, but the approach is very close. At the beginning, if you have one task, you ask the model to do your task, and you take a model, and it's amazing. It looks like it works. Then you dig, and you find that there is many mistakes inside. But it's not a big deal. It just works after to be able to tune already the model and to have the right context to make it happen. Because one of the things is you need to collect and to use the right data. Here, the quality of the data becomes really key with this kind of approach, which was different. You need few data, but the right one. And you need to have all the techniques. And then very quickly you discover that 50% of the performance of the model is linked to the data and the quality of the data you are using as reference for the model. For all these parts, we are mixing that obviously with multimodal. We prefer often to use a more specialized one that gives us the right answer than a very large one, which gives you a broad answer, but unfortunately just broad. And what is really a big change, a big game changer with all this model and element is the agentic layer, the agentic AI, on which you improve the performance really a lot, going from an accuracy. I have many numbers and cases, but it's become from non-deterministic to deterministic, from non-reliable to reliable answer. One thing is, most of the company, and we discuss a lot with different startups and so on, which is a big mistake or a big, let's say, not mistake, but something that the people forgot, is about the security, all the approach. And that's really key. That's really blocking for an industry, because all the compliance, all the fact, the confidentiality are key. So it's need to be respect. And this is often something that the idea is good, the solution is good, but we cannot embed this solution. And that's something really to take care. And then after, when you have all these elements, it's become very important to understand how it changes the relation with the machine. The relation, how we are designing the element with the different prompting approach. It's clearly a new world and a new way of the design. Then, when you have that, I said just before, this is only the task. The problem is not the task. The problem is the complete system to create. We talk about virtualization, but in fact, it's how your complete flow is becoming important. It's very important to have the right possibility to push the limit of the design you are doing. And for that, it's also a very agentic layer, let's say, focus on which you are connecting with tooling, planning, or specialized agent like the coding, and we put that directly in our CI/CD chain. It's very, very important. So with that, we clearly reinvent the boundary and the boundary between engineers. That's where it's become really a breakthrough in the way of working. Because at the beginning, it's very relevant to say that the problem is a misunderstanding between the people. And here we have a very good way to have, finally, to have a seamless transition between the different steps. And then when you have all these elements, it goes to the generative design and the part with all the elements of the reasoning and how we are adding more and more math and more elements. But when you addition all, it's become efficient. If you take only one of the peers, it's complicated to really get benefits. So all to say that we are going like little bit in embedded with centric AI model to AI system design and then generative one. Okay, to have the same kind of logic. And for the production, 15 seconds. So for this element, you have to see that it's really a mix between what we are doing inside the product, the robotic and so on, and the engineering. And we are matching the both elements together. We are doing different work on this element and from years with virtual inspection to set up correctly the parameter of the machine, which is super complex to do due to the environment context. Here with AI, it helps a lot. We have predictive maintenance, energy, etc. So you see that with this tree overview on these different elements, how AI is already impacting us, impacting our domain, and also leverage the possibility to go with more innovation and to change, finally, step by step faster, our automotive industry. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Cédric. I have to say it's amazing the transformation you're going through. Yeah. And again, French actor, French player, European leader, becoming an AI software company, almost. Absolutely. I have a question. We have time for questions. I have one. Everything here we saw is about software-defined experiences for the vehicle. So even here, it's a change of identity. Coming back to ADAS, how are you guys handling the certification of those components? And connected to that, I understand that you will do also over-the-air update. So, and it's connected with certification. So how are you handling this new animal, which is, with AI, it's today more or less a black box? Or how are you handling those industrial constraints?
That's, in fact, regulation, it's really in the heart of this ADAS part. It's, there is no improvisation. And where it's become also very complicated, and we start to have the same issue with AI, it's by geographic zone. It's unfortunately not in Europe or in Asia or in America. You have a different level of different kind of certification to support and different rules about the confidentiality of the data, to respect how you store the data, to ensure that you can recover all the behavior of the model if something happens. So it's very regulated world. And where it's become very more and more complex is because you have the world of this regulation and you have the world of the regulation that starts for the AI too. Yes, and the two are step by step connected. But,
so how are you handling with those? You're trying to comply with both?
We clearly work directly with the regulation, and we are clearly doing an overall view of this element and centralize all these elements about the safety, the regulation, to manage as a company standpoint and not project by project, for example.
We have time for one question here where we are many. Let's go here. Our friend from Rhode Island first.
Hi, good morning. I really appreciate your presentation. I have two short questions. One, you know, all these new embedded systems for active, passive security, automations, they come up with additional cost for the car. I don't know if artificial intelligence help you to optimize the cost, because these cars have to be accessible to everyone. Because if it's an additional options, then it makes cars very expensive. And I ask you a second question as a faculty. What is your new definition of engineering? What kind of engineer as workforce development you need at Valeo to ensure this or to accelerate this transition using artificial intelligence? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Two very interesting questions. For the first one, that's very relevant. We are at Valeo the cost, and we are doing mass production. So we are always link the innovation to the mass production. And that's where is the difficulty. Because if you take one or the other, it's complex but manageable. The both together, it's become very know-how to do it. Then the point is, you're right that the diversity, we should come step by step with more and more consistency. And the fact when we talk about more holistic approach, it's to help to avoid to have too many complexity in the way of the managing. Today you have a lot of sensors and a lot of decentralization that makes the story complicated after for the reconciliation. And this is what we are working on to, at the end, have the right level. And I think one of the difficulty also to go reach a level 5, this is techniques, but also this is a cost to have the right balance. But autonomous will also change the way of how the driving is. The mobility, we are going from car usage to mobility, and it's also change the relation and the kind of business that we are. So we have to think a little bit differently also for the cars. That finally use at the maximum the usage of the car to take benefit of the global cost of a car. That's the first for the first question. The second is about the engineering. What is relevant is during years to guarantee the quality, we are tailoring more and more the task for each element to ensure that each step, from one step to another, we guarantee the quality. With AI, we will be able to leverage more, to finally gather more. And for sure, what we saw is, with AI, this is the opposite that maybe some people will think. You need a better level in user engineering, a more holistic, a more system view. We will need more and more system people to understand what is the boundary between the different elements. So really moving with, this is my view, but more and more experts on dedicated subject and more system approach to be able to design the complete approach. That's because with the model, you need to challenge the model all the time. You need to challenge the result. And finally, the people who master the best with AI is the people who have a strong experience.
Okay, thank you. There is one last, very quick, because we're already over time. Behind you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Roger Christian from Institute of Technology, STR, at BIDA, Pyrénées-Atlantique. I have two questions for Cédric Merlin. The first one is, has Valeo the project on building its own car?
We are clearly a supplier for the different parts and helping we do not have any plan to build our own car.
All right. The second one is, where Valeo take data from to source his program of AI?
You mean which data are you talking
like
about?
You present about how AI we progress with time.
But you know, we are 100 years old company, so we have plenty of data internally, really a lot. And this is an advantage for us to gather and to build all our model on our know-how. That maybe I answer, maybe not. I'm not sure.
Not very, but with the last one, I would say how Valeo can work with Mistral to accelerate the progress of AI.
That's a good point. We are a user, especially it's why I'm talking about system of AI. We like really this kind of part on which we are using models which are very dedicated, very accurate on the answer. From professional use, this is what we are working on.
And the system dimension comes also from NoMagic and 3D Experience platform.